Hello everyone, I'm JP from Facebook. My real name is Renee, so some people think I'm a guy from Facebook, but obviously I did something stupid recently, which I think it's turning into a good thing. I talk too much online, and I saw a post on the Penny Hoarder that was talking about work from home jobs, and I read the article and I thought, it doesn't talk about teaching English anywhere here, and that's what I do. So I made a comment, and wow, the comments, the questions have poured in. I was approached by over 100 people. I've responded to about that many so far in private messages, but they just keep coming in, and I know a lot of people liked my comment and I didn't message them. So I wanted to do a quick YouTube video just to talk about what the basic requirements are for the position and what it is that we really do. Because when I say I teach English online, some people, they don't know what that means. So we'll recap those 2 points, and I'm going to make some other videos to cover some of the other questions I've been asked as well. Essential requirements. When you apply to any of these companies where you will be teaching one-on-one students in China the English language, they do market most heavily to parents who want their students to be taught by bachelor's degree or higher, American or Canadians with neutral accents. Those 3 things are very important to work for any of the English tutoring companies that I know of that are in China. If you do meet these requirements, great news. Definitely apply if it's something you're interested in. Feel free to watch this video, and I hope to put up some other ones as well. But if you are interested, you meet these requirements, and you also have a degree in English or in education, or especially if you are a licensed teacher in the US or Canada, you are a shoo-in. You have the gold star when it comes to being compared to other applicants. So I personally am not. I'm not a licensed teacher. I don't have a degree in English, but I'm a very successful teacher. If you do happen to have those things, please go for it. So who are we teaching when we're teaching English online? With most of the companies that are legitimate and have a good footing in the market, they are marketing to Chinese students who are between the ages of about 4 and sometimes as old as 14. These students are learning English in school, but if you recall your language studies in school, I wonder how much of those you remember. When you're not taught by a native speaker, a lot of the retention that you hope to gain from language courses doesn't occur. So what do we teach these students? We teach them English, obviously, in a pre-developed curriculum that is designed by the company that we work for. I work for VIP Kid. I believe Boxfish has a similar platform. But at VIP Kid, when you wake up in the morning and you drink your coffee and you put on your orange shirt, there is no real class preparation. Make sure you have your needed supplies like flashcards, your finger puppets, nothing crazy expensive as far as startup costs go with that. Your 2-sided whiteboard. You'll want one of those definitely. But you sit down in the morning, you load up your window, which is a live streaming video of your student, a live streaming video of yourself, so you can see how your face looks, what you're showing them on the whiteboard, if they can see the flashcard. And there's also this pre-developed curriculum that loads in a slideshow within the platform. The student can see the same slide that you can see, and they can interact with it by circling things with almost like an MS Paint tool type functionality. They can interact with the slide. That way you can circle a picture of a cat and say, "What do you see?" So the student, I see a cat. Perfect. So depending on what you're teaching the students and their entry point and their previous experience with English, you could be teaching something as simple as the letter A and the sound that A makes, the short sound that A makes in cat or apple, or you could be teaching something more complex like prepositional phrases. So for your more advanced, more fluent students. When are we teaching these students? Well, there are peak times in China, and I'll just talk about those. You can open any time on your calendar that you want, and if you do open all of your slots, and that's really what it looks like, you have 30-minute slots basically, and you open those. When those are open and you finalize that about a week in advance, parents can go in and they can book you in those slots. They can only book you in the slots that you have decided to open. That means if you do not want to teach in the evenings, you do not want to teach in the mornings, you don't want to teach on the weekends, you don't open any of those slots, and you don't have to teach them. You have to open about 7.5 hours worth of slots during the week, during their peak times to maintain your contract. That sounds very confusing. So peak times this week for me, I'm on the East Coast, are from 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. And then on some evenings from 9 p.m. until 11 p.m. I could really go into scheduling, and I'm not sure because I'm not like a full-time recruiter or something for VIP Kid. That's why I'm not using any screenshots of their software, of their platform, of their materials, or of their scheduling system. I'm not sure how much approval I would have to do that. So maybe I can find out some more information and give you some more visuals. But the maximum that you can work during the week is really totally up to you. You can open all of the slots on the calendar. And I know there are people who teach more than 60 hours during the week, which obviously that really adds up. They take it very seriously as a full-time job. I just really love to teach, so it's something that I really do on a part-time basis. I work about 25 or 30 hours a week in addition to everything else I do, just teaching English. If after the first week I found that any slots that I've opened have been booked, so basically I choose when I want to work and I get to see my students when I want to see my students. And if I have a busy week with my other consulting that I do in proposals, if I have other work that I'm doing, or if I'm going to be busy with my family, or if I have other plans, or if I just don't want to get up on a Saturday and I think I'd like to really sleep in that day, I don't book any students for those days. So it's the most flexible a job could be. It's the most flexible it can be, and it really is what you make of it. Where do you teach? You can really teach from anywhere. I teach from my home office. I am right now sitting in a room that's adjoined to my living room. I have actually 2 monitors in here for my other job. I have just a basic desktop computer. I use a headset while I teach, a nice high quality headset, and I have a nice webcam. These aren't super expensive items, things that you can get on Amazon.com for less than $20. I teach from here. I have this little magnetic cheapo whiteboard that I have that I can write on with whiteboard markers, or I can put magnets on it. I use some very basic flashcards that I got in a set from Amazon.com to help teach kids letters. It gives them something else to look at besides just the slide. I think it helps a lot. I also use this, I think this whole set of finger puppets was $7 or $8 on Amazon. And this helps me when I'm explaining a conversation. So if I'm saying hello and they're not saying anything back to me, I can go, oh, hello, what's your name? And I can put them in front of me, and I can interact with them that way. This set has a lot of the animals that we teach, purely coincidental. If anybody wants that information, I'll try to put it down below as well, where I got these finger puppets. Kids really like little stuffed animals and things. If you're talking about farm animals, it's nice to have a little farm animal. I have seen videos of teachers that go way overboard. They will have like crates and crates of all these interactive things and toys, and they'll have a big whiteboard behind them. I don't think any of that's necessary. I do not know how you would possibly have time to effectively teach while prep all of these materials and items in advance, especially if you're doing back-to-back classes. Really keep it simple. Have your whiteboard, have different colors so you can write their name here, so you can if they're really not getting a word and you want to go through the phonics with them, you can say, okay, you have hop on the slide, but sometimes it helps to stop them and say, what sound does this make? And help them through a word on the whiteboard. And then when they've got it, say, great job, and then let them move back to the slide. To help kind of pull them in and out of those slides, which can be a little bit impersonal, and they might not get that really intense one-on-one communication that is the benefit of getting private tutoring from an American speaker. So that's really where you teach. You're just right here. I don't move out of this chair often unless I'm going to get out of my chair to exhibit the word jump or something, or sometimes I show them my dog. But I teach from right here in my home, the hours that I choose to teach, and it really works for me and a lot of people. It works for a lot of moms. It works for a lot of teachers that want to make extra money in the morning or like to teach on the weekend or during spring breaks. It works for a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons. So it's something that I'm really glad that I found, because I really miss teaching my students, and now that my career ties me here to the United States, I really missed teaching overseas. So it's something that I decided to do to pursue one of my passions. But there are a lot of reasons why, we're getting to the why, people teach. Some people teach to make more money. It is, for me, I'm not a licensed teacher, so I do not make the maximum amount that I could make with VIP Kid. My first month, I averaged close to $24 an hour. On a normal month, like last month, I averaged about $21 an hour. So it really depends on different bonuses that they're running, how many classes that you book. Sometimes they'll have incentives. If you book more than a certain number of classes, you'll get an extra dollar for every class that you teach over a certain threshold. It really depends. But the lowest that I've made so far at VIP Kid is about $21 an hour. A little less. I think it was like $20.45 an hour. I try to keep track of the math and see what it is, but that's not my primary motivator. My primary motivator is to teach my students. But I know a lot of people that make it a business for themselves. So that rate does come to you. I've been asked sometimes about how you're paid. So it's paid through a wire transfer, like a direct deposit that comes directly to your bank account. I haven't seen anything sketchy with that or anything. VIP Kid is a company that's traded on the New York Stock Exchange. I'll try to leave a link about that as well. So I'm not a Nigerian prince or something. I really am Renee in Florida, and I really do teach English for VIP Kid, and I make money in my free time with my adorable and lovely English students. So that's the why of why people teach, and I hope that if you are qualified and you do like the flexibility and the idea of being able to help students across the world learn a new language, that you will look into it and you will apply. So if you have more questions, I am on Facebook. I've been kind of overwhelmed there, but if you leave a comment here, I will monitor this video. I will stay on top of it. I will communicate. If you have other questions, let me know. I'll be doing some other videos. Some ideas I have, I'll be going over the supplies that I use. Again, I think a lot of people kind of go overboard. I don't think you need to make a significant investment. I think in total I spent about $40 to start teaching my classes, to buy my finger puppets and my markers. I buy everything off of Amazon because I don't drive. I can't go to the store since I'm epileptic. But I also, I'll do some tips and tricks videos. And I also wanted to talk about really how I got involved, and then also some challenges that we face as teachers online and how to overcome those. I hope this was informative. I'm sorry if I didn't get to message you back from the original post, but feel free to message me or comment below, and I will try to help you navigate your way through the world of teaching English online.